Alaska emerges as one of the most severe and breathtaking territories in the extreme northwest of the American continent. Between ice-capped mountains, raging rivers, wind-dominated coasts, and near-endless expanses, nature dictates the rhythm of survival. Here, each season radically transforms the landscape, demanding endurance, strength, and precision from the animals that inhabit this colossal environment. Amidst the intense cold, unstable terrain and vast distances, predators, tireless travelers, and perfectly adapted species daily confront an ancient, silent, and profoundly wild territory. In the extreme reaches of Alaska, wide rivers carve through frozen valleys, mountains dominate the horizon, and dense forests advance to coastal regions marked by constant wind. In this vast and unforgiving territory, each environment imposes different challenges. Wildlife moves following food, shelter, and the severe rhythm of an intense and unpredictable nature. In the regions of Katmai National Park and Preserve and along the remote areas of the Alaska Peninsula, one of the continent's largest land predators dominates landscapes shaped by the force of water, cold, and scarcity. The brown bear. The brown bear occupies vast territories marked by raging rivers, hillsides covered in low vegetation, and open plains where every feeding opportunity can determine weeks of endurance. Its colossal body is striking. An adult male can exceed hundreds of pounds, supported by dense muscles and a structure built to tackle rugged terrain. Wide paws distribute weight over unstable areas, aid in crossing strong rivers, and ensure a firm grip on slippery slopes. An extremely sharp sense of smell allows it to locate food from great distances, a decisive advantage in an environment where resources appear irregularly. For part of the year, Alaskan rivers gain intense movement. Thousands of salmon push upstream, creating an extraordinary concentration of food. It is at this moment that many bears occupy strategic banks. Each bear knows specific points of the river, places where the current slows down or where small natural waterfalls hinder the fish's passage. The dispute for space happens silently and calculatedly. A dominant animal can claim more favorable positions, forcing smaller ones to wait for less secure opportunities. Although frequently associated with brute force, the brown bear relies on precise choices. Wasting too much energy can pose a serious problem during periods of lower food supply. Therefore, its movements alternate between moments of high intensity and long periods of slow travel and careful observation of the environment. In denser areas, vegetation also plays a role in survival. Roots, wild berries, and small animals supplement their diet. Females, accompanied by cubs, exhibit attentive behavior, avoiding regions of high conflict and guiding the young through protected paths amidst thick shrubs and more isolated slopes. With the arrival of the harshest periods, many individuals seek protected spots among rocks, accumulated snow, or elevated areas to reduce activity for weeks. Silence dominates these regions, but the territory remains watchful, awaiting the return of movement. In Alaska, the brown bear does not merely occupy a space in the landscape. It influences movements, disputes, and the behavior of other animals, imposing its presence in rivers, valleys, and forests where strength and strategy walk hand in hand. Far from the raging rivers of Katmai, the terrain opens into frozen plains and extensive valleys. In the vast regions of northern Alaska, enormous herds of cervids follow ancient paths. The caribou. In the immensity of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge and the Great Plains of the tundra, survival depends on constant movement. It is in this vast and rigorous setting that one of the most resilient animals of the far north lives, the caribou. The first sign of their presence appears in the distance. Small, dark spots begin to fill the horizon until they form an impressive collective movement. At certain times of the year, thousands of caribou advance together, following routes repeated for countless generations. These are long journeys, driven by the need for food, rest, and favorable breeding grounds. The caribou's strategy differs from that of Alaska's large predators. Instead of isolated strength, there is silent cooperation. The herd functions as a natural defense. Many watchful eyes heighten the perception of the environment, facilitating rapid reactions to any change in the territory. The migration also establishes a rhythm. Experienced adults take the lead, while the younger ones follow, learning every curve of the trail. The caribou's body was molded for endurance. Long legs help conquer great distances. Wide hooves offer stability on unstable terrain, wetlands, and packed snow. During harsh periods, the animal uses its own hooves to carve out small areas in the ice to reach vegetation hidden beneath the surface. Food is not always abundant, and seizing every opportunity becomes essential. The calving season reveals another impressive aspect of the species. Within hours of being born, a calf must already keep pace with the herd. The rhythm does not slow down. The distance covered daily demands immediate adaptation. Mothers remain extremely attentive, guiding the young through difficult crossings, shallow rivers, and open terrain exposed to constant wind. There is also a rare trait among large mammals of this size. Both males and females possess antlers. In males, they grow larger and more robust, used primarily during periods of spatial disputes and mating. In females, they help secure access to feeding areas when conditions become most severe. In Alaska, the caribou represents persistence, an animal shaped by movement, perfectly adapted to long journeys in a landscape where distance, cold, and endurance walk side by side, and where moving forward is part of survival itself. From the great northern plains, the scenery shifts to wide rivers that carve through dense forests and flow toward coasts marked by cliffs and giant trees. Over this territory, a silent observer dominates the skies: the bald eagle. The bald eagle commands the Alaskan skies with a silent and constant presence. In coastal regions like Glacier Bay National Park and along the forested areas of the southeast, this bird finds a vast territory, brimming with rivers, lakes, and cold seas, where food appears in abundance during certain times of the year. Unlike the collective migration of the caribou or the terrestrial might of the brown bear, survival here depends on precision, observation, and energy conservation. From atop giant trees or rocky slopes, the eagle observes everything around it. Its highly efficient gaze detects movement from long distances, allowing it to pinpoint opportunities in narrow rivers, open banks, and choppy coastal waters. Every flight requires careful calculation. Instead of wasting energy constantly flapping its wings, this bird utilizes air currents and vast open spaces to glide for extended periods. The environment directly shapes its routine. During the salmon run up Alaska's rivers, many eagles move to occupy regions close to the water. Dead trunks, ancient trees, and elevated points turn into strategic observation posts. Activity increases. At certain times, dozens of individuals can share the same area, creating a staggering concentration around available resources. Despite its imposing appearance, the bald eagle does not rely solely on hunting. Opportunism is part of its strategy. Fish near the surface, scraps left by other animals, and small mammals supplement its diet. This behavior boosts its chances of survival in a territory where conditions change rapidly. The nests are also impressive in size. Built in sturdy trees or elevated regions, shielded from the strongest winds, many are used for consecutive years. Thick branches, dry vegetation, and accumulated layers make these structures increasingly massive. The pair works together, protecting eggs and chicks during delicate growth periods. The young learn early. Before mastering the Alaskan skies, they spend weeks practicing balance, short movements, and small flights around the nest. The environment demands rapid adaptation. Strong winds, sudden weather shifts, and great distances become part of their routine from an early age. Even in the face of such vastness, the bald eagle maintains absolute control of the surrounding airspace. Its presence influences the behavior of other birds and reveals how Alaska's coastal regions and rivers sustain highly adapted forms of life. Far from the inland forests and rivers, the wind intensifies over icy coasts and the open expanses of the Northern Sea. On the frigid beaches of Alaska, massive groups of large marine mammals rest near the water. The Pacific walrus. The Pacific walrus transforms the coastal regions of extreme western Alaska into a scene of collective strength and constant endurance. In the freezing Bering Sea and areas near the Chukchi Sea, massive herds occupy sandbanks, isolated beaches, and frozen surfaces right next to the ocean. Here, the environment is harsh, unstable, and dominated by intense, cold, dark waters and perpetual wind. In this open territory, surviving means knowing when to rest, when to dive, and when to stick with the herd. The first impact comes from their size. Adult males are striking in their robust body mass, supported by a thick layer of blubber that helps conserve heat in the extremely cold waters. Their thick skin, marked by scars and varied tones, reveals years of battling strong currents, long migrations, and territorial disputes among hundreds of individuals gathered in a single area. But it is impossible to ignore one of the species' most striking features: their long tusks. Strong and resilient, they do not serve merely for defense or displays of dominance. They also help propel the body out of the water and provide leverage on slippery surfaces near the ice and coastal rocks. Every movement requires effort. Out of the water, their locomotion appears sluggish. In the ocean, everything changes. The walrus becomes surprisingly agile. Much of the day is divided between resting and foraging. When they enter the water, they dive toward the seafloor, exploring shallow regions in search of small animals hidden beneath the ocean's sand and mud. Their long, highly sensitive whiskers act as tools for exploration, detecting nearly invisible movements in the dark depths. Foraging requires patience, repetition, and physical stamina. Unlike solitary Alaskan species, the walrus relies heavily on the presence of others. The herd offers security. Calves stay very close to their mothers, learning diving routes, safe resting spots, and the rhythm of the ocean from an early age. Contact between individuals is constant. Low-pitched sounds, brief movements, and slight nudges maintain order within these massive gatherings. Their collective resting is also a sight to behold. Hundreds of bodies can remain packed together for hours in tight spaces right by the sea. Yet a silent order prevails. The most experienced typically occupy strategic positions, maintaining quick access to the water when needed. In wild Alaska, the Pacific walrus embodies absolute adaptation to the marine environment. A colossal, resilient animal, perfectly molded to survive amidst icy waters, intense wind, and an ocean that rarely stays calm. On isolated islands off the Alaskan coast, noisy groups occupy rocks exposed to the sea. Now enters the sea lion. The sea lion occupies a stretch of Alaska where the ocean dictates the rhythm of everything. On the rocky islands of the Aleutians and along the Gulf of Alaska, the scenery is defined by damp cliffs, slippery rocks, and waves that pound the coast with constant force. The environment is never truly quiet. The sound of the sea, the wind, and the gathered colonies transforms these regions into an intense territory where rest and movement occur side by side. In contrast to the compact clustering seen among walruses, the sea lion maintains a more restless and territorial dynamic. Large males battle for space in coastal areas, especially during the breeding season. Their size is formidable. With thick necks, broad chests, and a commanding presence, many males claim high positions on the rocks, continually watching over the group and reacting to any approach. The colony's organization is clear. Females stay close to their pups, creating small protected spaces among rocks and more stable surfaces. Newborns learn early that the Alaskan coastline demands swift adaptation. Before fully entering the ocean, they spend weeks developing balance, stamina, and familiarity with the constant churning of the tides. But it is in the water that the sea lion reveals its true prowess. Out of the sea, its movements seem heavy and restricted. However, upon diving, its behavior shifts entirely. A hydrodynamic body allows for sharp turns, deep dives, and impressive bursts of speed in pursuit of food. Schools of fish, small marine animals, and frigid, swirling waters are all part of its daily routine. Feeding relies on speed and precision. Often, entire groups travel together, tracking shifts in ocean currents to regions where food is concentrated. The ocean offers opportunities, but it demands unyielding effort. Crashing waves, turbulent waters, and vast distances are part of their survival. Another detail draws attention: the intense communication within the colonies. Deep barks, short calls, and frequent vocalizations help mothers locate their pups amidst hundreds of gathered individuals. In crowded areas, recognizing a single call can be decisive in maintaining the bond between mother and offspring. Even when facing unpredictable seas, the sea lion demonstrates an extraordinary capacity for adaptation. It alternates periods of absolute rest on cold rocks with long journeys across the open ocean, always relying on the balance between physical power and environmental awareness. Far from the restless ocean, cliffs give way to extreme slopes, hanging valleys, and snow-capped mountains. In the heights of southern Alaska, a specialist in impossible terrain defies the limits of survival: the mountain goat. The mountain goat lives in one of Alaska's harshest environments. On the steep slopes of Wrangell St. Elias National Park and in the high alpine regions of the southern state, few species can survive where it moves with ease. The setting is extreme. Loose rocks, nearly vertical walls, deep snowpack and gale-force winds turn every step into a constant test of precision and endurance. Here, there are no easy paths. The first impression comes from the altitude. High above the forests and rivers of Alaska, the mountain goat occupies areas where access seems impossible. The jagged relief acts as a natural defense. Instead of fleeing over long distances, this species trusts its own agility to reach places inaccessible to most animals. Its body was built exactly for this. Compact, muscular, and incredibly sure-footed, the mountain goat possesses cloven hooves capable of gripping tiny rock edges. The hard outer rim provides stability, while a softer inner pad offers traction on slick surfaces. Often, the animal balances on microscopic ledges, advancing with short, highly calculated movements. Unlike the intense herd behavior seen in caribou or the massive coastal colonies of sea lions, the routine here is defined by small groups and long periods of silent observation. Females and their young stay close, occupying high elevations where the terrain offers greater security. The young learn an essential skill early on: climbing. Just days after birth, the kids already follow their mother across treacherous slopes. Learning happens fast. Every short leap, every change of direction, and every choice of path can make the difference in a territory where mistakes rarely offer a second chance. The environment also dictates their diet. In regions less blanketed by snow, the mountain goat forages for low vegetation, grasses, and small shrubs scattered among the rocks and open slopes. Often, accessing food requires risky maneuvers across extremely steep faces. During the harshest periods, the mountains become even more severe. Biting winds and deep snow completely erase their usual trails. Even so, the species continues to inhabit high altitudes, utilizing rock formations to minimize exposure and conserve energy. There is another striking detail: their calm in the face of danger. On near vertical terrain, the mountain goat demonstrates absolute control over its movements. Where other species hesitate, it advances with astonishing precision. In Alaska, each environment imposes its own rules. From dense forests to icy seas, from open plains to towering mountains, wildlife adapts in breathtaking ways to simply survive. Strength, endurance, strategy, and precision shine through in every movement, revealing a territory where survival hinges on constant choices. In this vast and unforgiving landscape, no species occupies its space by chance. Bears, caribou, eagles, walruses, sea lions, and mountain goats show how raw nature molds extraordinary behaviors, silent, intense, and perfectly attuned to one of the wildest environments on the planet. If you felt the power of this journey, support us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming stories into the heart of the wild. And let us know in the comments where in the world you are watching from. See you next time.